Hi, this is Miss Gyford. I'm going to go over our back to school information. This is all of the stuff that you need to know for your Math 8 class, including routines, syllabus, grading, all the above. During this video tutorial, I will stop every so often to ask you questions just to ensure that you are paying attention and listening. This will also tell me that you watched it because on my end, I'll be able to see what you answered, how you answered, and how long it took you to watch this video tutorial. So please be paying attention. It is important. I want you to understand everything about our class, and that way we are setting you up to be successful in math right from the beginning. So here we go. The magical world of math. This is a quick infographic of our syllabus. I will go into more detail here in the next few slides, but basic information is how to contact me. I have my CNUSD email. I also have a YouTube channel that I will be compiling some videos for just this Math 8 course on. So those of you who had me last year, this is a new YouTube channel that I'm creating just for this year. So more stuff will be added onto that shortly. Some goals that I have for our class is just to learn the content and become good mathematical thinkers and show that skill. Have fun and enjoy coming to class. That's always my key. I do not like boring classes, so I try very hard to not create one. And of course, we are going to definitely focus in on some technology. You're going to acquire a lot of technology skills that will get you future ready. All right. So some things that you want to download onto your cell phone or device or have access to at home would be very beneficial. And that's Google Classroom, Google Drive, Google Docs, Google Slides, ClassTag, and Desmos. A lot of you already joined my class tag. On the second day of school, I had several of you add in to the class tag. So a good majority of you guys are on there. Class tag is kind of like Remind, where you can get updates and notifications about what's going on in just my particular class. You can comment on posts that I send out on class tag. And you can also send me direct messages as well, where we can communicate if you need to. Ask me quick questions or such. Expectations for our class is to always have a positive attitude, be willing to learn, believe that you can actually do this. Don't say, I'm not a math person. I don't believe in that. Everybody can learn math, okay? I do ask that you never give up, that you constantly keep asking questions and trying. Okay, I am available for help every day but Wednesday, and that's because of early release, from 2:23 to 3 o'clock. So right after school to 3 o'clock. Now, if I have supervision after school, you may have to wait for me for a little bit, but majority of the time I should be available to meet with you right after school. If you cannot meet after school because you have other arrangements, please let me know and we'll make an appointment so that way I can make sure that I am available for you when you walk in. So please, no surprise visits. Parents, if you want to get a hold of me, of course, we can always set up a parent conference. But again, let's schedule that so I can ensure that I have enough time to talk to you and go over all your concerns. We grade on two different things in my class: formative assessments and summative assessments. And it sounds like, oh my goodness, we're taking a bunch of tests. An assessment is just a check. That's basically what that word means. So all of our formative assessments are formative checks, things that I'm checking throughout our practice time and our learning time. And those are things like classwork, our digital assignments, projects, activities, little things like that. So as you complete those, you will be getting graded, and they will go down as a formative grade, which is 30% of your grade. Then we have summative tests, and now your summative test is like your final unit test, okay? And that would be 70% of your grade. So we're going to do lots of practice, lots of skill building, and that's the 30%. And all of that is to prepare you for the unit test, which is 70. So if you do really well on the practice and you get a lot of practice in and you try hard, when it comes time to take that unit test, you're going to score much better. All right, so some other little quick things about my class. We are a standards-based grading class, which means I grade on a scale. My scale may look a little different than other teachers who do standard-based grading, and that's because I included a 5. All right, if you were to break this down, a 5 would be an A+, a 4 is an A 3.5 is a B, a 3 is a C, a 2 is a D, a 1 is an F, and a 0 is no evidence. I didn't get anything from you, okay? You left that problem blank, or you left too many of them blank to qualify for a 1, okay? Some supplies that you need for my class are pencils, calculators, notebook, paper, ruler, protractor, and erasers. We will be doing everything through Google Classroom, so you want to make sure that you get signed up on that with me at the lab here in a couple days. We will be using a lot of technology. You are welcome to bring your own device. I recommend that you use your LTE, unfortunately, because our Wi-Fi at the school is not equipped to handle that many devices. And a lot of the sites that I will ask you to go on are unfortunately blocked, even though they're educational sites. So the district is working on lifting some of those restrictions so that we can access some of those great resources. All right, so let me talk to you a little bit about me, especially since my parents are also watching this video tutorial. I've been teaching for over 15 years in Corona Norco. I've been teaching 21. This is my 21st year as a teacher, 15 in Corona Norco. I've taught elementary school, I've taught high school at the continuation, middle school. I taught special ed for 5 years at the high school and at elementary level, and then I switched over to general ed. In 2010, I was a teacher of the year. I hold several degrees and many, many technology certificates. I've been recognized and awarded at the congressional level twice. I'm an Apple educator and a certified Apple trainer, and a professional development contractor, which means school districts hire me to come out and train their teachers on how to use technology in the classroom. And they pay a lot of money to get my team to come out and train their teachers. And you guys get to have me every day. So exciting stuff. Hopefully I can share lots of wisdom with you guys and make you great techies as well. I also work with Google as a Google educator, certified Google trainer, and a professional development contractor as well. And I'm also a trainer for Microsoft. So I do both platforms. I can do Apple and I can do Microsoft. So my students who come to me with a PC-based family at home, they have all PCs. I can definitely help you out just as well as I can help those out at home with Apple products. I did start my training and contracting years with Discovery Education and from Discovery Channel. I did that for about 9 years, and then I switched over to other contracts as well. For Corona Norco, they do use me quite a bit for trainings. I'm an Edpuzzle coach and a project-based specialist, a Screencastify genius, which basically means I can coach on Screencastify. Discovery Education Trainer, Canvas Trainer, Google Trainer, Math Curriculum, and Assessment Specialist, which means I sit on a team at the district level and help write our district benchmarks and tests. And I also help to compile good practice problems for the SBAC with a group of other fine educators. On top of all that, I am currently a National University professor. I teach courses in the credential program, the Master's in IT program, and I'm also a student teacher university supervisor. So student teachers who are out there getting their student teaching, I go and supervise them, and if they pass their supervision course with me, they are eligible to apply for their state credential. And then finally, I'm also a secondary math coach for the Riverside County Office of Education. So I do quite a bit, and I definitely keep myself busy. But what keeps me even more busy is the fact that I'm a mom and a mother of 2. So this is my daughter, Audrey. She is in kindergarten this year, just started. She is currently 5 years old. And the little one at the bottom, that is Eric. He is turning 1 year very soon. And they are just a lot of fun, and they definitely keep me busy. So let's talk about why my class is a little different, if you haven't already kind of got an idea of how different it's going to be. So in our class, we don't use the CMP3, which is why I told many of you guys don't get the textbook. You have to get the green book, which you'll probably wonder why you even have it, but by law, we have to give you a textbook curriculum that you can always reference back to. But I'm going to give you everything through Google Classroom anyways. I teach the standard mastery with a skill focus on learning. So we use a mixture of great resources and materials out there. Some of them come from Engage New York. A lot of you who had me last year, we did mostly all Engage New York. This year, I'm not going to do as much. I'm going to kind of mix in some other supplements that I found that were very effective as well to help give you that standards mastery and to also help you with your mathematical skills. We will also be doing digital assignments, things that we do on the computer. Again, those of you who had me last year, you're probably used to the digital notebook. We're going to do something similar this year, but not quite as structured as that notebook we did last year. I am going to put in some project-based learning with you guys. We're going to do things as projects to kind of help zone in on that standard mastery. We'll have some hands-on activities, some little games and things like that to also help you understand the mastery of the standard that we're doing. And of course, we're going to do some collaborative work with our peers and with me. So let's say you get into class and you're feeling swamped and you needed some help. So I am available for help. I am available Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, again from 2:23 to 3 o'clock. So just putting that out there again. If I cannot make tutoring that day because either I am physically not on campus, I've been asked to go to a meeting, or I have to leave, I will send out a class tag notification to let you know that tutoring is canceled for the day. So when do I get to kind of jump on the bandwagon with you guys and make sure that we are being successful in class? I don't zap as we talked about in class. The reason I don't zap is because oftentimes students go to zap with a math assignment and there's nobody in there to help them with the math assignment. Therefore, the child sits there and does nothing. So instead of zapping you, bring the assignment to me after school. You and I can do it together. You'll turn it right in. You won't have that missing assignment anymore. I won't ask you to come the actual day. I prefer you to, but it's not like, oh, I couldn't get last night's homework in, I have to go in tomorrow after school. It would be best if you did. But let's say that just by life, you can't make it that day and you come in a couple of days. That's great. But if I start to see that your grade is slipping, you're not coming in and asking for help, you're not getting your work done, that's when I'm going to issue you a mandatory math tutoring. That will be 30 minutes after school each day until your grade improves. This will be a parent phone call home. I will ask permission to keep you after school. You must report and you must stay the entire 30 minutes. Now, if you're just coming in for random help and you're not told you have to be there, then you don't have to stay until 3 o'clock. You can come in, stay for 10 minutes and take off. You can ask me one question, leave, turn in papers, that's fine. Some students just like to come in because my room is quiet and they can get some work done even if it's for another class. But the only time I get kind of grumpy with you and will kind of get in your face a little bit is when I see that grade dipping down too low for me. Parents, of course, if you feel that you want your kid to raise their grade and I haven't caught it yet, call me up, send me a text message, or send me an email, and I will automatically add them to the mandatory math tutoring, where they will then stay with me every day until that grade improves, with the exception of Wednesday, of course, because of early release. So if they can improve their grade in 2 tutoring sessions, then they only owe me 2 sets of 30 minutes. If it takes 5 days, then it's 5 days of 30 minutes to get that grade up to a much more improved grade. So again, here's my tutoring, and I just put this on here because there are times on Tuesdays I have staff meetings. Thursdays, if you need to stay later, we do have department help, and sometimes I do host the department help, which means I will be here till 3:15 instead of 3. And parent meetings, again, just by appointments. So that way I make sure that you're not coming in and meeting with me while I have students in the room, or I'm not already scheduled to be at another meeting. So please, again, email me and we'll set up an appointment. So things about going digital, because our class is mostly digital. We're going to be about 90% digital, which means I'm not against paper pencil. There are some great paper and pencil activities out there, which we will be using in class. But to hone in on our work and to keep it organized and not getting lost in the shuffle of everything, everything's pretty much going to go up on the cloud in the Google Classroom. So you'll be able to access all your work from Google Classroom. The digital notebook, like I said, it's going to be a little different this year, but I'm just going to keep with that wording right now, and then we'll change it up once we get into it. This allows me to give you some immediate feedback to what's going on. I can send you assignments that you'll put in the answer. It's very interactive. It'll tell you if you're getting it right or wrong. It'll give you that good practice. So you're not waiting a couple of days for me to grade it and then hand it back to you. You're going to get that feedback immediately. You can also go on Khan Academy at any time to get extra help, and I will provide you any links to Khan Academy that go with the standard that we're currently working on to help give you some support at home, as well as my own videos. And again, those are all the Google Suite, I should say. It comes from the G Suite program. Those are all the things that we will be using and learning how to use during this year. So this is what your Google Classroom looks like. If you've never been onto Google Classroom, you're going to have something that's set up like this. Now, this is as if you had all your 7 classes. Of course, you're looking at my screen right now as a teacher. But let's say all of your teachers had Google Classroom, you would see all of your periods here. But if I'm your only one, then you're probably just going to see the period that you have me, and it'll say math on it, and that's it. All right. So once you're on Google Classroom, I'm not going to spend too much time on this because I really don't have much on there right now. But everything on this stream page right here will be announcements, things that you can comment on. You can, I'll post like little feelers about, hey, how's everything going? How, any stresses I should know about, things like that. And sometimes it's just fun, like what's everybody's plans for the weekend, just to kind of keep that communication going and to make it a little bit lighthearted in that sense. Classwork is where you're going to go, where you're going to find everything that I've uploaded for you. If you were absent, you're going to come here, go to classwork. You're going to look for the date that you're missing or you're absent on. You'll see anything that was uploaded on that date. Also, you'll see all your due dates on there. In fact, you'll get reminders of things that are coming up that are due. If you've passed the due date, you'll start to see that it'll say missing next to it. So make sure that you are working on those assignments. Again, if you are absent, just go right to Google Classroom, click on classwork, find the assignment. If it's a digital piece or notes or something, you can watch my video tutorial on how to do it, work on it as much as you can. Again, if you can't get on or your Wi-Fi is not working, things like that, you are more than welcome to come into my classroom. I have 6 desktop computers as of right now. You can log on and I will show you exactly what you missed and what you need to do. All right, so let's talk about that grading just a little bit more because I know I kind of went through that real fast on the infographic, and that's because I had this slide I knew that I already made for you guys. Formative assessments, again, is 30% of your grade. That includes classworks, projects, digital assignments, informal checks, things like exit tickets, and your quizzes. Any of these can be redone for a higher grade. So if you perform poorly on any of these and you want to fix them, you can redo them. Summative grades is something like your unit assessments, recorded lessons, and your final portfolio. I put Final Pro, but it's supposed to be portfolio. Those cannot be redone. Okay, recorded lessons is going to be something new this year. It's very similar to those of you who had me last year, but it's going to be set up a little bit differently. These will all be put into a final portfolio, which you will all showcase at the end of the year at open house. And we will be working very hard on creating a wonderful showcase for each of the parents to see all the stuff that you learned, which is why most of our stuff, again, will go up into the digital cloud so we can access it later. So if you want to do some corrections or want to do a redo, I do have a policy, and my policy is very simple. I have 2 rules. First rule is it must be done with me after school during tutoring. You can work on something during class, or you can make an appointment to see me at another time. But anything you are choosing to redo, if it's classwork, a project, a digital assignment, a quiz, It must be done with me. And the reason why is because I want to ensure that you're going to do better on the redo than you did the first time. I also want to make sure that I'm teaching it to you, not a tutor or someone who may possibly confuse you. And again, I also want to eliminate any chance of cheating. I want to make sure that you are truly learning the skill and the standard, and you're not just getting the information from your friend during lunch. Redos cannot be done at home. I must sign off on them in order for you to get credit, which means I have to physically see you do it in front of me, and then I will sign off. So when you've done a redo, let's say it's during class, you finished your classwork early, and you say, Miss Gyford, can I do a redo on this assignment? I will say yes. And then before you leave, I need to initial that you completed it in front of me. Okay? So a little bit different than last year. Last year, I allowed you to take them home, but I did quickly realize that we had a lot of cheating going on, and I want to make sure that my ultimate goal is that you learn the material, not that you learn how to cheat. So corrections on quizzes, again, need to be done with me during tutoring. The first thing you'll do is you'll correct all the ones that you got wrong with me. I will give you feedback. I'll tell you where you made your mistake. We'll talk about it to ensure that you're not going to make that same mistake again. Then I will give you some support lessons that you will need to do as additional practice. Those, again, will be done with me after school. If you need more time on those, we can arrange for you to come in the very next day, finish up those support lessons with me. Then you will take a new quiz, and during that time, you will take the quiz with me. It'll be a brand new quiz. It'll be very similar to the original quiz that you took, but this time it will be with different numbers, different scenarios, things like that. So it'll be slightly different. The retake grade is your final grade. So even if it's lower than the first, so let's say that you got a 3, which is a C on the quiz, and you really wanted that A, and you redo it, and for some reason, after you and I went over it together, you did some support lessons for extra practice, which you also did well on. It's very hard to imagine that you're going to do poorly on the new retake, but in the event that it happens, and let's say you score a 2, well, then you keep the 2, okay? Because standards-based grading is what you currently know and how well you have mastered that standard, okay? Retakes are given a full new grade. So again, in the upside of this, let's say you got that 3, you got a C, you retake it and you get your 5. You get the 5. I don't take a percentage off, or I only give you half credit. I don't do that. You get a whole new grade. So again, we've mentioned technology a lot. I do recommend that you bring your personal devices. And in fact, I have a charging station in my class just so you can charge your phones or your tablets, whichever you tend to want to bring. Again, it is your responsibility. It's a bring at your own risk type thing. So if it gets lost or stolen or damaged, I am sorry. But please keep in mind that you need to be responsible for your own devices if you bring them. I do have computers in the classroom. I only have 6, unfortunately, and I'm working very hard to get the district to give me some more. But at this point, it would be great if every student could use their device so we could move along with the assignments that I want to complete with you guys in class. If you are able to bring an iPad and you can hotspot it to your phone because you want a bigger screen, that's fine. Again, I would really recommend not going on the school's Wi-Fi because it does block a lot of the stuff that we want to use. Calculators are highly encouraged. In fact, they are a must and a required item on our supply list. And again, our supply list is on ClassTag, so I want to make sure you get onto ClassTag. I don't ask for anything fancy. If you look here at this picture, as long as it has the positive, negative key, it has the square root key, I'm good. Now, you can get the ones that actually have the pi symbol, but in my class, we go ahead and just type in 3.14. We don't use the pi symbol. You will get a completely different answer if you use the pi key. But for my calculators, this is completely fine. The picture here is exactly what I'm looking for. If you don't have the square root symbol, your calculator will not be one that you want to use in our class because we do use that square root symbol quite a bit. Okay. You do not need to go out and buy the $300 graphing calculator. And please do not buy anything you don't know how to use. Unfortunately, we don't have time for me to give calculator tutorials like I used to with my high school students. I would require that they all went and bought the same one so we can all learn together. But that does take a lot of time to teach how to use those graphing calculators because there's so many different functions. For me, let's just keep it simple. All right, grades and what do they mean? Again, we talked about the grading scale in the infographic, but here it is again. I'll just let you kind of look at what do each of those levels mean. So 5 through 3.5 is proficient, which means you were doing great. 3 and 2 is basic, and then 1 and 0 would be needs improvement. Okay. I also give citizenship grades. This is my citizenship rubric. This is also posted in my classroom for students to understand why am I getting a 1 in citizenship? Do you not think I'm a good kid? It has nothing to do with that. I am looking at specific attributes that you bring to the classroom. Behavior is one of them, as you can see here, it's right on top. But being respectful, your proper use of your electronic device is big in my class because we are using our own personal devices. I'm putting a lot of trust that you are on the assignment on your phone that we're supposed to be working on, and you are using it for educational purposes, not inappropriately. That when I break you into groups, I'm looking for that collaboration and communication with that peer. You're not sitting there doing nothing. You're not, letting them answer everything. You're just writing it down. Even my quiet students, you're going to have to kind of break from that mold, and you're going to have to collaborate and talk with your peers. It may put you in an uncomfortable position, but it is preparing you for the careers that are ahead of you. Every career I can possibly see that is developing big here in the next few years, their main objective in their businesses is to have employees who know how to work together and communicate. So that is a big push right now for us to get you guys to communicate and collaborate. But this, again, is not, I'm going to get with my friends and talk about what I did last weekend. No, this is about the work. So when I walk around and I see how you're collaborating and what you're actually saying, you're not just randomly saying something because I happen to be walking towards you and you don't want to get dinged for not communicating. I can tell when you're faking it. I will look at this rubric and assign you a score accordingly. Responsibility, work habits, this comes down to like work completion, being engaged, taking pride in your work, being responsible, getting things done on time. Again, if you need help on it, I'm not going to ding you for that as long as you get it in within our help session or the next day. Also, if you are absent, that goes down as responsible too. I cannot, with 250 students this year, nail you down every time you're absent and say, hey, you were absent yesterday. You need to have this assignment. You need to learn to advocate for yourself. Come see your teacher or go on Google Classroom and say, hey, this is what I missed. Ask a friend. Again, this is why we write in our planners so that way you can always reference back to what you were doing that day. Now, grades may look like this on Student Connect or Parent Connect, whichever you may be looking at. Because we are a standards-based classroom, you will see the standard. Now, this is a standard here where it says like KC 1.2. It's going to be a standard like that. And then in this description will be the actual assignment that we did. And then you'll see the citizenship grades. So things that I'm looking for. So maybe that particular day we did a digital assignment. I'm looking at how you worked on your electronic device. Let's say on an average day, I look at behavior. Okay, this is how you're behaving. And again, all of that's on that rubric. So parents, if you're not sure why they're receiving a certain grade in citizenship, I can be more than happy to email you that rubric and kind of point out to you what I was looking for. All right, so let's say you want to talk, kids or parents or students, whichever you prefer. You can always email me or send me a direct message on ClassTag. If it's something personal, please do not post a comment to one of my posts because everybody can read that. If it's something personal, at the very top of your ClassTag, if you're on the website, there is a little chat box. It looks like a little talk bubble. Click on that and you can send me a direct message. That is something that only you and I see. So if you have any questions, please send me an email and I'll be more than happy to go over this with you. And again, thanks so much for watching this video tutorial. And make sure you answer that last question so that way you can get full credit for viewing your back to school information and syllabus. Thanks. See you in class.